Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind address the theme, Crossing New Frontiers to Conquer Today's Challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine.
How fast is a supercomputer compared to a computer? Supercomputing at the speed of 1 billion trillion calculations per second. It's like if each of the world's 8 billion persons solved 125 billion maths problems per second. If 1 million human supercomputers computed at the speed of one calculation per second, they will take 1.5 billion years to complete a calculation that takes only 1 second on a parallel supercomputer that computed at the speed of 1 trillion billion calculations per second. My contributions to science, namely practical parallel supercomputing that occurred on the 4th of July 1989 and occurred at age 34, should be measured by a different yardstick when comparing them with my cumulative scientific discoveries at age 64 or later at age 94. The reason is that in 30 years or 60 years, I will have doubled or tripled and developed a larger body of discoveries and inventions. Comparing my contributions at ages 34, 64, and 94 is like comparing the gold medal counts at the Olympic Games of different sized nations, such as Liberia, Nigeria, and the United States. In scientific research, the number of papers published doubles every year, every 9 years. My quest was for the discovery of practical parallel processing that is the vital technology that changed the way we looked at the supercomputer. Contrary to a widely held misconception, an article is not a contribution to science per se. The 50 million scholarly articles published in year 2010 alone are nothing but distant background noises. The grand challenge problem of mathematics and physics was solved by inventing a new computer science called practical parallel processing. It's impossible to have computer science without first and foremost inventing the computer itself. And it's impossible to have a new computer science and have that new field of study without inventing a new supercomputer that must change the way we look at the fastest computers. Prior to 1964, computer practitioners in the United States were not trained as computer scientists. The reason was that back in 1964, the research community had not accumulated enough new knowledge that would have justified the full-time training of a computer scientist. Just like America must be discovered before it can be colonized, the supercomputer must be invented before the computer scientist can be trained. The inventor of a new supercomputer is the inventor of a new degree in the new computer science. The story of Nigeria encapsulates the story of humanity. Since 1958, the economic progress of Nigeria depends on the crude oil and natural gas discovered and recovered. Only about half of the crude oil discovered can be recovered. The recovery of crude oil and natural gas requires a mix of technologies. The parallel supercomputer is the most advanced technology that is used in the petroleum industry and used to discover and recover otherwise elusive crude oil and natural gas that were buried 1 mile deep and that spreads around an area the size of a town. The usefulness of the supercomputer is the reason 1 in 10 supercomputers are purchased by the petroleum industry. The supercomputer market is $20 billion per year. Worldwide, over 2 billion computers are in use, and parallel processing will play a vital role in the development of the computer of tomorrow. Why are the lecture series that I posted on youtube.com as long as a nice big limousine? My supercomputing lectures are from the frontiers of knowledge in physics, mathematics, and computer science. It took me 60 years, onward of January 1960, to understand how to use the times table that I learned as a 5-year-old and do so across a new internet. That is a new global network of millions upon millions of commodity off-the-shelf processors that were tightly coupled to each other and that shared nothing between each other, and to understand how to use that new technology to solve the grand challenge problems arising at the frontiers of knowledge of extreme scale mathematics and computational physics. Parallel processing, the vital technology that I discovered as underpinning every supercomputer, took me 60 years to fully understand. Therefore, you cannot understand parallel processing in only 60 minutes and understand how to solve a grand challenge problem that took me 60 years to understand. A best-selling book like Gone with the Wind will detain you for nearly 1,500 pages. The reason my parallel supercomputer lecture series that I posted on YouTube detains you for over 100 hours is that supercomputing is far more complex than any novel, and that my lecture on how to parallel process across a new internet is a first-person account of the new knowledge that I accumulated and discovered across 6 decades.
Insightful and brilliant lecture.